Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 4 and we are gonna present our presentation about psychoanalysis and film. But first, let me introduce our members. My name is Nahdlatul Arina Syam and my members Afila Ardianti, Eka Oktaviana, Yulia Fatmawati Fauzia, and Aulia Bidara. Now, let's get started.
Then, if we are talking about film, what is the definition of the film itself? Based on Cambridge English Dictionary, film or movie is a series of moving pictures, usually shown in a cinema or on television, and often telling a story. Film covers a broad range, from practical to environmental, on to pictorial, dramatic, and narrative to music.
Okay, next. What is psychoanalysis? According to Peterberry books, psychoanalysis itself is a form of therapy which aims to cure mental disorders by investigating the interaction of conscious and unconscious elements in the mind. Next, film and mental illness. Mental health was a timely issue in 1956. According people like ourselves portrayals of mental illness in the movie's book. Mental health is a more than mere scenario or a proof in this movie. As Tom resolves the conflict in his personal and professional life, he takes action that help ensure his own mental and emotional health. From this statement, function the film raise the issue of mental illness to tell viewers don't underestimate mental health and care more about mental health.
Violence and mental disorder have a very close relationship. In the film, these two things are interrelated. Some films that show mental disorders are usually associated with violence experienced in the past. As happened in Split film, Kevin as the main character has a mental disorder. He has 23 different personalities and it's always changing. It is caused by the violence he experienced while still a child. Because of this personality, he is often referred to as the Beast. But he tried to treat the disease by consulting with a doctor named Dr. Fletcher. Dr. Fletcher believes by mentioning Kevin's real name can make him aware of his bad personality. At the end story, Kevin almost killed his friend, but was briefly realized when his real name was mentioned. Kevin also wanted to kill himself with a gun and hurt his friend. When he saw his friend hurt, he realized he felt sad because of hurting others. This shows us that even people with mental disorders still have a good side in them. Mental disorder in the film describes so many stories that occur in society. This shows us how someone's condition and mental disorder it causes and many things that most of us don't know about.
In this slide, we're gonna talk about mental illness portrayed in the movie. So, based on the previous slide, it is told that Kevin Wendelkram is the main character who has mental disorder, which we called as dissociative identity disorder or DID. A person who got DID is have so much different personalities, just like Kevin in this movie. He has 23 different personalities. The cause of his mental disorder is when he was a child, he was a victim of child abuse by his own parents since he was 3 years old boy. That trauma turns him to be a person who has many different personalities. Based on this movie, it is told that he has 23 personalities, but uniquely, every personality has their own appearance. But there is only several personalities that appears in this movie, such as the first one is Barry. So Barry is a man who likes all about fashion. That's why in this movie he looks a little bit feminine. He also close enough with Dr. Karen Fletcher, a psychologist who treats Kevin's disorder. And the second is Hedwig. So Hedwig is a 9-year-old boy. Because he is only a little boy, he has slurred a speech style. And the third is Miss Patricia. Miss Patricia is a woman and she is close with Hedwig and Dennis. She is portrayed as a woman who always doing something perfectly. And the fourth is Dennis. Dennis is the leader of the others. The others means a different personalities in Kevin's body. He portrayed as a man who always cared about cleanliness. And the last one is the Beast. So from the first, Dr. Kellen Fletcher argued that the Beast is originally only considered a fairy tale and imaginary creature. But the Beast's personality was never appeared before. The Beast is described as a strong and fierce monster, but at the end of this movie, the Beast did appear and kill Dr. Kellen Fletcher and 2 women who were kidnapped by Dennis. So this movie began with Dennis kidnapped 3 young girls. These 3 girls are placed in a small room. Every day, the 3 girls are visited by Kevin with different personalities. Casey was the one of the girls who realized that Kevin has dissociative identity disorder. Violence and mental illness is the 2 relationship that related each other. So based on the book of portrayals of mental illness in the movies by Zimmerman, violence and mental illness is already portrayed in Samuel Fuller's melodrama titled Shock Corridor. This melodrama is talking about an ambitious newspaper reporter who goes undercover as a patient in a mental hospital in order to learn who committed a murder there. The relationship of violence and mental illness is much more complex. There are several important facts about it, such as the first one, the movie's violent behavior is often attributed to mentally ill people, as though the 2 states are inextricably linked. So in this movie, there are 2 identities that shows violent behavior, Dennis and the Beast. Because Dennis is the leader of the others, he also portrayed as a strong and clever man. That's why he is the personality who kidnapped 3 young girls, and he also did sexual harassment to one of his hostages. Another personality who shows violent behavior is the Beast. The Beast described as a big monster that would kill anybody. In this movie, the Beast's personality had killed 3 people tragically. He killed 2 hostages by eating their stomach, and he killed Dr. Karen Fletcher by hugging her tightly until her ribs break. And the second, this association is a part of stereotype of mental illness found throughout American society, and particularly throughout the mass media. This movie is not only part of stereotype, but this movie is also based from a true story of Billy Milligan. So in 1970, Billy Milligan was a criminal who was released for having a dissociative identity disorder. Billy claimed to have committed rape, assault, and theft with different personalities. The case of Billy Milligan was very famous in the United States at that time. And the last one, the available research shows violence more likely mental illness. It is proven in the movie that Kevin Wendell Crumb got dissociative identity disorder, and he had two characters that shows violence, the Beast and Dennis personalities.
And then our group will give the example journal from personality disorder and defense mechanism of the main character in the split film with the title The Split. This journal uses psychoanalysis approach. Purpose this journal to understand the multiple personality disorder problem experienced by the main character of the film. Next finding from this journal is the result shows that Kevin as the main character has multiple personality disorder. He has 24 personality with some personality become dominate. Dennis, Hedwig, Barry, Patricia, and Beast. Does personality appear to find the way out from his problem? Does personality depict in different habit and nature from Kevin's personality? On all of those changes, Kevin's ego has different defense mechanisms to reduce his anxiety. On Dennis' personality, Kevin's ego used denial. On Barry's personality, Kevin's ego used sublimation. On Hedwig, Kevin's ego used projection. On Patricia's personality, Kevin's ego used reaction formation. And on the Beast's personality, Kevin's ego used displacement as his defense mechanism. In short, when Kevin feels uncomfortable, he shares his problem by being one of his defense alter, based on what like is the condition happen. And the conclusion from this is the author analyzed the main character in this film to find out how multiple personality disorder appear based on Freud's theory that Kevin as the main character has 24 new authors with several personalities that have become dominant, namely Dennis, Hedwig, Barry, Patricia, and the Beast, as previously explained.
So, for the conclusion, according to Barry, psychoanalysis is a therapy that aims to cure mental disorders. As an example of a split film, we can find out how a mental illness can occur to the character. In the split film, the character experienced child abuse and violence committed by his parents when he was a child and traumatized him. From the film, we can find out that attitudes and way of educating children by parents greatly affect children's growth. And from this film, we can appreciate and care more about our mental health and also people who have mental illness. So, that's all for our presentation. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.